Everybody, this is Marya on YouTube. Today I have a book review for all of you guys. So as you can tell from the title, I am reviewing The Young Elites by Mary Lou. I have to say before I even start, I love this series. I didn't want to finish it. I have been trying to finish it since December and I didn't want to finish it because it was so good. I didn't wanted the books to end. So I'm gonna show you guys the first three books, or the books. So you got The Young Elites, which is this one right here. You have The Rose Society, which is this one right here. And then last but not least, you got The Midnight Star. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but the book is actually a little bit destroyed. You can tell a lot right here in the back. It's pretty destroyed. And I carry my books with me everywhere I go. I don't care where I'm going. I can go to a lunch with my parents and I'm gonna be carrying a book. I don't care. And I also carry a water bottle with me, and that bottle spilled everywhere and it ruined the book. It kind of ruined it didn't happen. If you read books and you love books, you know this hurts your soul as much as it hurts mine. But because of that, and this is my little segue into this tiny haul that I'm gonna do. So I decided to get 2 different book sleeves just to try them out. So the first one that I got is from Bookbo and is a Paris theme. It really goes with my Paris theme right here too. But this is how it looks. It's great. This is the indie size. I think there's a smaller one and a bigger one of this if you guys are interested. I will try to link the Ipsy shop down below. And then this one, which I always forget how to pronounce, the shop, I think it's a lark shop. I will link it down below as well, and I will put a little thingy right here so you guys can know where it is from. This is the Galaxy theme. Again, they are pretty much the same size. The Galaxy one is just a tad bit bigger, and just so you guys know, this one fits 1 book. I already put 2 books into this one, so they're pretty comfy. This one is harder and this one is more like soft material. I really like both of them. I cannot decide which one to use. I'm always like, just take both. But yeah, I definitely recommend both of these sleeves, both of these shops, if you guys haven't seen them before, and I will link them down below, and I will leave everything I can find on them down below so you guys can follow them as well. But now let's just jump right into our actual review. Okay, so let's start with The Young Elites, which is the first book. This is the book where you get introduced to Adelina and to her family. You get introduced to her powers and the elites and how it all works. You get introduced as well, and you kind of get to see what the fever, not get to see, but you kind of get, somebody explains to you what the fever is and what happened to them and why are they malfetos and why some of them have powers, some of them don't. You also get to meet the elites, as I said before, and the elites are basically the ones that have power, and where you get introduced to the elites and who they are, what they do, the fact that they help malfetos that have powers, they train them, they come to know Adelina, and she gets to understand where her powers are coming from and what she aligns with, what god she aligns with. And I was really interested in the mythology part of this book. I thought that was really interesting way of connecting both you know, something very sci-fi dystopian world to something very known to us. At least I thought it was a very smart thing to do. I honestly don't know a lot about my mythology, but I did recognize some names, or at least I don't know if the names or the actual powers the gods are given. So I was really interested in that. You also get to know the royal family in this side of her, the Sunland. I thought that was really interesting. There are a lot of important characters introduced in this series, so you do have to keep up with them. There's not a lot of them that you say like, oh my god, I need to learn all the names. The names are very weird and very easy to remember, but I do think it's very important to remember them and to see what actually happens with all of this. I really think it's a great book. It's a super rounded dystopian world. You really get to understand the fear, and it actually applies still to this day. Man fears what they cannot understand, and it still applies to a lot of people around the world that are considered malfetos or weird or different, or you know, whatever it is. And I think it's very relatable to nowadays, and I think that was something pretty cool that I found in this book. Then number 2, which is the Rose Society, which is this one. Can we just appreciate the little wolf in there? It's so beautiful. But this is the Rose Society. In here you get to see Adelina go in her own way, make her own rules, and make a rule of her own, literally rule the world of her to her own way. And it's really fascinating to see that. You kind of start seeing a villain in training, and it's such an amazing thing. You start seeing her kind of try to be good, but you know, there's just something pulling back that is not that good. And in this book you really get to see that kind of mean, bad side of her, and kind of everybody around her kind of telling her like, you need to slow down or be more in control of your powers, but she doesn't listen to them like any good villain. You get to see her become even more powerful. You get to see her even become more bloodthirsty. That it's something I would say, but it's really interesting to see it. It's very incredible to see her transformation from her being so weak and not being able to defend herself to being somebody that rules the world with a fear, inciting fear in everybody. And it's something great to see, to read. I don't think it's something great to see, but it's something great to read about. Again, you're introduced to new characters. One of my favorites is Magiano. He is the love of my life. I love his character. I think he's very misunderstood, and he's really just a well-rounded guy. I really like it. He's another Malfeto, if you guys didn't know. And the romance that starts spiraling between Magiano and Adelina, it's pretty amazing. It takes a really long time for them to kind of get into the romance side of it. Not the the romance, the intimate part of it, to say something. But I think it's really great. I think there is something about their relationship that reminds me that in this day and age, you kind of forget the innocence, the sentimental, the really being intimate without having to take your clothes off type of relationship. And nowadays is more of, let's just get it on and get on with it. And I think that's something that some of us are losing, some of us are still kind of fighting for it, but it really kind of resonates with me in this book, and I really like it because of that. And then the third book, and I'm trying not to do spoilers, which is why I'm trying to talk so fast about all of them. And also I like to remember you guys, I like to remind you guys that it's very important, the new characters that come into play in this book, because they start following Adelina into her own rule, and they follow her and whatever she says and whatever weird thing she wants to do. And it's something great to see that she incites fear even in people that have powers. So let's just get that really out there. And now the third and final book, which is this one, we get to see her become. So in the second book, you kind of flash through this, but they kind of say that there is something wrong with the Malfettos, for the fact that they have God-given powers and they are actual humans, that there is something, that those powers are too much for their bodies to take. And in this book you start seeing them decay, and it's something very big, it's something very important, and you're gonna need to remember that. You get to see a softer side in this book from Adelina, and you got to see a more romantic side of her with Magiano as well. It's just the same thing. This relationship is evolving into something more serious. They all think they're gonna die for the same reasons, that the powers are way too strong for their bodies. But it's very good. I really like this one. You get to see. So I didn't mention this before, but in all the books you have Adelina's sister, who is Violeta, and she's also a Malfetto. Nobody knew, spoiler alert, nobody knew she was a Malfetto, but she had the power to repress somebody else's powers. So she used to repress Adelina's powers, and that's why when Adelina finally broke from her house, she was finally able to use her powers, and she didn't know what she had. So now moving on to this book, in the second book they actually get in a fight. Violeta goes somewhere and Adelina just keeps going, ruling the world. And then in this book you get to see where Violeta goes and what is happening to her. She is one of the people that is very weak because of her powers. There's people that the powers actually make them weaker faster. Then there is bad news about Violeta that Adelina gets, and then the elites, or the rest, whatever is left of the elites, and Adelina and her Rose Society get together to try and find a way to make it better, to give back the God-given powers to the gods and not for them to have them anymore. And I think that's a very good book. Now, I do want to say this. The three books really relate an amazing story. Somebody that was bullied by her society, by her parents, by her, everyone around her was bullying her. She became a villain, which is really what happens in a few cases. It's really what happens. In a few other cases, people just evolve and that makes them stronger. Some people are not that strong. I think I love the fact that she was a villain. You're not that used to seeing a villain and how they actually become a villain. You normally see them, especially in Disney movies type things, you get to see them as villains, but you don't get to see anything else from that. But I really like that story. I also really love the story between her and her sister. I have a sister as well. Mine is older, but you get to see her being very protective of her younger sister, but at the same time kind of hating her sister. One, because her sister repressed her powers, because her sister was not marked. That's another thing that the Malfettos have. They are marked. She doesn't have an eye. Her is silver. So there's a lot of things that come into play in this relationship of a sisterhood. But I think it's really great. I think at the end you get to see her for who she really is and for who she really loves and understands. She does something that really makes her sister say, like, wow, she loves me. There's something in the story that is just so profound, so good. I love it. If you guys haven't read them, I recommend you guys to do so. That's pretty much it, you guys. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you guys haven't read this trilogy, I recommend you guys to do so. It's pretty amazing. I loved it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys like it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bells so you guys know when I upload new videos, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.